record. Always forget that. We're going to talk today about what are the things that we bump up against that become obstacles to our success and what to do about it, right? It's one thing to know, yeah, I know I'm doing the thing, but it's another thing to know kind of what to do about it. So we're going to dive into two things today. One is going to be our empowered leadership. I'm going to share some empowered leadership paradigms because when we take action from feeling as an empowered leader, things change. Results happen in a much quicker and a much more simplified and least complicated way because we're actually aligned with the actions that we're taking versus trying to kind of like push this big boulder up the hill, and it just feels like an insurmountable mountain that we're climbing. So let me go ahead and just share my screen with you and we will get going. If you guys are in the Facebook group, just let me know. Just comment live if you're watching it live. If you are coming back and watching the replay, if you would just pop in and give me a hashtag replay, that would be amazing. And that way I can know who's here and just reach out to you, make sure that you have everything that you need. So for those of you that still need the workbook, let me know. Just send me a DM and I will be sure to get that for you. For those of you that, great, yes, Gina's here live. For those of you that are still wanting to get on my schedule for a call, you can absolutely still do that. I will pop the link in the chat in the Facebook group underneath this video so that you can find it. And again, it's a no pressure call. It's a no pressure chat. It's only about 15 minutes long. And the intention of it is simply to support you where you are in your business. I don't do hard sales. I don't do discovery sessions where I try to convince you or persuade you of anything. That's not the way I roll. That's not the way that I teach my clients. So again, if you just want my eyes and my ears with you to kind of make an empowered decision about whether joining us in this round of Activate Abundance makes sense for you now, happy to hop on a call and help you with that. All right, quick reminder. This is what we've covered so far. So on day one, if you missed day one, you can go back and get it. There's two places that you can find the replays. One is inside of our Facebook group, Build a Six-Figure Business for Conscious Coaches and Wellness Professionals. So when you come into the Facebook group, at the very top, there's some tabs. Click on Guides, and the very first guide will be March Six-Figure Secrets Simplified. So you can get all of the replays there, and you can also get the workbook there too. The second place that you can find these replays is in our replay hub. I will post the link in the comments and it takes you directly to our webpage. We created specifically for you, specifically so that you can access the replays easily and find them. And we also have the workbook there for you too. So we've got it day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And now we're moving into day 5. So quick reminder, day 1 was all about alignment, getting in alignment with your true self. We talked about the 5 pillars that I built my business with, and we aligned to the energy of abundance. We start there because the inner game, our mindset combined with the energy that we're in, the energy of abundance, needs to come first. So we always start there first, then we add the strategy. Right? So the strategy is the outer game. The mindset and the energy that we're in is the inner game. The inner game plus the outer game, which is the strategy and the inspired actions, equals success in our business. So the strategy components that we were talking about on day 2 was actually this design part. We talked about why we want to have a high-end offer, what to put in your high-end offer so that it is something that commands a price of around anywhere between $3,000 and above, depending on how long it is. And what are the 4 main components that you want to put in your high-end offer? We also learned about the power of a signature system and how having a signature system or your own proprietary system, your own method, framework, pathway, system actually 10x's your business, and how we get to make our system the hero, which takes all the pressure off our shoulders of trying to sell ourselves and instead gives us a really clear, simple way to share with people what it is that we do and how we help them get results. On day 3, we dove into the first 2 pieces of the nurture method. And so attract, nurture, and invite, we covered in day 3 and day 4. And we shared in the Venn diagram, I'm just going to show you that real quickly, the importance of having all 3. And that if you want a successful and a thriving business in a way that you are attracting clients into your ecosystem consistently and predictably, we talked about these three pieces and why you need them. We talked about attraction is what are we doing to help our ready yes clients, our heart yes clients, self-identify in our ecosystem so that we can bring them into our ecosystem. Then we talked about nurturing and what are some of the ways and the importance of nurturing so that we can create the know, like, trust, build a relationship and rapport with people before we invite them to buy. Right. So the invitation is all around making heart-centered sales. And we talked about heart-centered sales yesterday and the ladder of beliefs that our clients go through in order to get there. The most important thing that I want to share about the attract, nurture, and invite is that we really do need all three of them. If we are attracting and nurturing, but we're not inviting, then nobody knows how they can work with us, and we're not going to make sales in our business, and we're actually not going to be changing people's lives. We're basically abandoning them on Pain Island. If we're attracting and inviting them, but we're not nurturing, that's trying to turn a stranger into a buyer, and that rarely happens. That's why sales feel wonky, and it feels hard, and it feels like you're doing something out of integrity or out of alignment. And if we're just nurturing and inviting, but we're not attracting the right people into our ecosystem, then you're going to hear a lot of, I can't afford it. This isn't the right time for me. Let me, think about it some more. It's where you're getting no shows or people aren't showing up to the calls that they've booked with you. That's because those are the people that I kind of call them the looky-loos. They are the ones that come into your ecosystem, but they're not really ready to do anything about their struggle, or they don't really think that they have a problem. So we want to make sure that we are really attracting the people that are in the slow lane, which are the people who are actively looking for a solution to the problem, or the people that are in the fast lane, which are 3% of the people in your world that are ready to go right now. They already have an experience of you. They've been in your world. They know you. They like you. They trust you. They just need the invitation. And so we've got the attract, nurture, and the invite as part of our marketing and sales system that we set you up with inside of Activate Abundance. Today, we are going to dive into, and I know it says day 4, but it's not day 4, our empowering paradigms. So being an empowered leader. There are 12 paradigms that I follow and that I give with my clients, and I highly recommend that you print these out because these are something that you are going to want to come back to over and over and over again. A paradigm is not just an affirmation. So there's a reason why we call these paradigms not affirmations. Paradigms is more than just saying the words, and it's more than just a feeling. It's actually a way of being. It's a way that we show up in the world. It's a true state of being. And when we are in the empowered leadership paradigm, when we take on and say, nope, I'm an abundant and I'm empowered leader, there are certain things, ways of being that we input and we take action on in the world. And this is what our paradigms are. So number 1 is empowered leaders take 100% responsibility 100% of the time without guilt or shame. And what I mean by that is that we take responsibility for ourselves. We take responsibility for our results. We don't blame our lack of results on circumstances or other people because that's just not true. We really are responsible for the thoughts that we're thinking, which lead to the feelings that we have in our body, which lead to the actions that we take. And so if we start from the place of, well, I can't until someone else says yes, or I can't until someone else agrees with me, or I can't until all of the stars aligned, or I can't until fill in the blank, whatever you put after I can't until, that's actually giving your power away to an outside circumstance. The truth is we're 100% responsible. We absolutely can, right? Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And we have to start from that place of, I'm 100% responsible for my results. And I also don't have to beat myself up or have any guilt or shame around anything that may have happened last time, right? Last time doesn't matter. Last time is just last time. Yesterday is just yesterday. We get to make a new decision and take new actions and create a new mindset every single day. Number 2 is sacred self. I call this our sacred self-care. That is the foundation of a sustainable practice. So this isn't about burning the candle at both ends and hustling. When we are building a sustainable and a profitable business, we know that we have to absolutely take care of ourselves. So we're not going to trade our well-being or our integrity or who we are in the world at the expense. We're not going to trade that for success, and we don't need to. And when we get really clear on what our non-negotiables are, and we actually create a freedom calendar inside of Activate Abundance, you're like, yep, this is when I'm working on my business. This is when I'm not working on my business. This is when I'm working with clients. This is when I'm not available to work with clients. When we have that structured, then we can actually put in and make sure that we have self-care dialed in too. So I'm actually going for a massage after this call today. So I've got my self-care dialed in. I like to go and retreat once a quarter. So there's certain things that we want to make sure that we've got dialed in. And so that becomes the foundation of a sustainable practice. Number 3 is leaders source their experience. So empowered leaders, we are responsible for sourcing our experiences. And one of my favorite quotes that I learned from one of my coaches is that abundance is opportunity that has not yet been actioned. Success is opportunity that is not yet actioned. So when I talk about sourcing our experiences, that means we get to take a look and go, what is it that I want? What am I going to do about it? How am I going to source what it is that I need? How am I going to find the resources for what it is that I need? Who do I need to reach out to? How can I create this different experience? We get to source that, right? It's not up to somebody else to create that for us. Number 4 is leaders choose abundance even when others choose scarcity. And that is, ooh, that can be a little tricky, right? Because we can be surrounded by people who are not in the same mindset or group of people or even on the same journey of learning that we're on, right? So, we can be in the abundant mindset, and then a spouse or a partner or a parent or a friend can actually be in scarcity, and that can, pull us into their energy. So we get to remind ourselves that it is an abundant universe, that it's not just a pie where if someone takes a bigger piece of the pie, there's less for me. It's actually a bakery. We get to bake more pies. We get to bake more cookies together. We get to play the abundance game, the generosity game together. So we choose to be in the energy of abundance and believe in possibility, even if others don't. That's okay. That's for them. We don't need to change that for them. Number 5 is my most dominant thoughts create my results. Therefore, I take daily action to align to what I most desire to receive. And this is, a paradigm that I remind my clients every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday inside of our Voxer group. And I ask them, what energy are you in, right? What is your intention? How do you want to feel this week? And when we think about dominant thoughts, notice that this isn't my thoughts. I'm in alignment 100% with my thoughts. We're not. There's no way. We're here. We're human. We have a human brain. But if we think about how do we align to the thoughts that help us stay in abundance 51% of the time, that becomes much more manageable, right? So what we do is we just notice when we're on the wrong train of thought. And we're like, oh, oops, I'm on the scarcity train. Let me pop off that. How do I realign my thoughts so that I'm on the abundance train? And we do that over and over again. So mindset is a muscle. It's something that we build. And the more you repeat it with repetition, right? So repetition is on repeat, and with high emotion, the better. And that is actually how neural pathways get created. So there's some brain science here in this paradigm. Number 6 is empowered leaders allow themselves to take risks and course correct. I promise you, every successful businesswoman, business owner, leader that you see has taken risks, because we don't create results without risk. It's impossible. If we were to say, I'm never going to take a chance on anything, I'm not going to make a decision or take an action unless I'm 1000% sure that it's going to work out, there would not be any decisions being made, and there would not be any actions being made. So we get to allow ourselves to actually make a decision, take action, get feedback, and then course correct, right? So that is along the lines of there is no failure, it's just feedback. But the more decisions you make, the better. because the more decisions you make, the more feedback you make, right? So think about it. If you were to make, 25 decisions in your business this week, and you got half of them, turned out in a way that you didn't want them to go, you still had half of those, right? 12.5 that are pushing you in the direction that you do want to go. And you're learning from the other 12.5 of how you want to do it differently. Whereas if we only took 2 actions because we were scared about taking action, it's a lot slower process. So we want to take lots of actions. We want to make decisions and take actions because we're going to get to our results a lot quicker. Number 7, leaders commit before they know how. This one is something that I really love, and I think about it, and I think I shared this with you guys yesterday around the bicycle, right? We have to commit to getting on the bike even if we don't know how to ride it, right? We have to commit to take action in our business even if we don't know how. The how opens in the commitment. When we commit, that means that we're also taking action and we're getting results so that we learn the how, right? Just like riding the bike. When we commit, we actually get on the bike. It doesn't do us any good for somebody else to get on the bike and ride it for us, or to show us a movie of how to ride a bike, or give us a book and say, here, how's how you ride a bike. We actually have to commit and get on the bike. So super, super important that we get to tap back into, all right, it's actually, we get to commit first, and then we get to open up to the how as we go. Number 8, leaders do what they need to do with integrity and they live authentically. Absolutely 1000%. We get to do what it is that we need to do with integrity, and we get to do that in a way that feels authentic to us. So that is really important because we get to do this in a way that aligns with our soul, aligns with our spirit, aligns to who we want to be, right? We do not need to give up our integrity or who it is that we are for success. We get to claim that. Leaders make powerful, decisive choices. So that goes back with we get to commit before we know how, and we get to take risks, right? We make powerful, decisive choices. We make a choice, we take action on it, and we love the choice that we made. This is a really fun mindset hack that I actually learned from my mindset coach. Often we make a decision and then we hem and haw. Is this the right decision? What if I made the wrong decision? But what if I did this, right? We tend to go back and forth and we end up spinning. And so what we want to do instead is take a look at how are we actually showing up and making a decision. And then whatever decision that it is that we're making, we put the thoughts behind it that we love it. We make a decision and then we look for all the reasons why that's a good decision. Versus our brain is like, I don't know, I should have done this or the other. And then our brain starts looking for all the reasons why we should have made a different decision. That doesn't help us. So we get to make a powerful, decisive choice and then get to create the reasons why that's a good choice. There is no failure, only feedback. You're either winning or learning. Yeah, that means there's, you can't get this wrong. If you're either winning or learning, you can't get it wrong. Leaders trust themselves and take inspired action, right? We have to trust ourselves. We have to take the action, right? So we trust ourselves and we trust ourselves that we can figure it out. And we trust ourselves that we can do hard things. And we trust ourselves that we can make this work. And we take inspired action. And then leaders are impact driven and give generously. One of my favorites. The reason why we're doing the work that we're here to do is to make impact in the world. The reason why we have stepped into this holistic business area is because we care. We're impact driven. We give generously. And here's the cool thing. When you give generously and you lead with value to create impact in people's lives, it always comes back to you. And sales become a side effect. You call people into your energy field. You call people in that need to work with you and need what it is that you have. So which one of those, I would love to know. If you're in Facebook, I would love for you to know which one of these stands out to you the most. And if you're here with me inside of Zoom, I would love to know which one was like an aha today for you. Sarah or Alyssa, which one are you like? Ooh, yeah, that one.
I was thinking, I'm not sure if this was on the earlier list, but I wrote down the more decisions you make, the more feedback you get.
Mm-hmm.
because I'm usually thinking, okay, this is what I call my gifted kid program,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, where it's like everything has to be perfect because I told I would be perfect. If I'm not perfect, then I failed everybody.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's like instead of being stuck in like not making a decision for fear of whatever made up BS
Mm-hmm.
about a decision, it's like no, keep making more and more and more and more and more decisions, and you get more and more and more and more feedback.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn more, like dang it,
Yeah. Keep getting on that bike, right? We don't get on the bike once and fall off and go, well, that didn't work, right? We keep going. We keep making the decision to go. And the more decisions we make, the more we learn and the faster, right? Think about your, gosh, even learning a language, right? For those of you that have learned, went through high school French or Spanish or whatever, right? You practice, right? It doesn't do any good to only practice saying your name or whatever once a week. The more you practice, the better you get. And that's the same thing with our decisions. Yeah. Thank
It
you.
reminds me of whenever, so I've gone skydiving twice now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what? I'm gonna get certified to go solo.
Mm-hmm.
But like right before, like I was totally fine in the plane ascending. It's like 15 minutes, and then I was the first to go.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "You're going first." I'm like, "What? Okay." And I
Yeah.
had with me it was a business thing. I had our whole team going, and she was scared. I mean, she
Mhm.
was almost in tears before going
Yeah.
out. And I just looked at her. I was like, "We're doing the damn thing," and just went. And we
Yeah.
jumped. And she
Yeah.
said that gave her the courage to jump.
You know what? That is so important. I'm glad that you said that because we're really not meant to do this on our own. I actually need to add that as another paradigm in here because truly, sometimes we just need somebody to hold our hand and say, I'm going with you. I'm going to jump with you. Let's do this. Yeah, for sure. Alyssa, what about you? Do any of these pop out for you?
Actually, everything. Because
You're like, oh,
I,
all of them.
yeah, because I have to learn. I always second guess myself.
Hmm.
I'm always like, oh, I'm 100% scared of failure.
Hmm.
So these are things that I have to push myself out of. And
Yeah.
and I know that I'm capable. And the funny thing is that I have like my kids and my family, they come to me and they're like, oh, I'm really scared to do this thing. And I can give them the best advice, but
Hmm.
I cannot do it for myself.
I know,
And,
right? We're like,
and
oh.
sometimes, sometimes I can. Once in a while, I'm like, okay, I'm the expert in this. Why am why do I feel this way? I have to come forward as the expert. I know what I'm doing. So, I go through this whole process in my head to push myself out of my comfort zone.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Comfort. It really is true that we don't grow unless we step out of our comfort zone because
Absolutely.
because in our comfort zone, we keep doing the same things that we're comfortable with. And the things that we're comfortable with have got us to where we are today. And that's amazing. But it's not going to get us to where we want to be, right? It's not going to get us to where it is that we want to go. We have to step out of our comfort zone and try new things until that becomes the new norm in order for us to get what it is that we want. We have to just do things differently to create different results. Amazing. So I want to share some common blocks to success that are keeping you from six figures because and this doesn't mean that you have to get any of these perfect. It's just something to be aware of, right? So one is hiding and playing small. We do this, right? We're like, oh, I'm nervous. I'm scared for people to see me. So just, notice if in the past week you've said that you would share maybe what you do on social media, but instead you got distracted. You kind of moved around the paper. You're like, yeah, I need to go fold the laundry, I need to do the dishes. You got distracted by something else, right? That's one way that we kind of block on self-sabotage is we're like, I think I'm just going to stay here and just play small. Number two is what we were just talking about with Alyssa, staying in and comfort instead of going all in, right? So just notice in the past month, have you seen somebody you could help, but maybe you didn't make an invitation to them to work with you. Instead, you just waited for them to reach out to you, right? We're like, I'm just going to stay here in my comfort zone. I'll just wait. Yeah. Number three is asking others for permission. In the past 2 weeks, have you doubted yourself, your pricing, and looked to others to give you permission to charge what you really want? Yeah, instead of really being like, nope, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. We can always ask for support, right? But what we don't want to do is think that we need somebody else's permission to let us do what it is that we want to do in our business. Number 4, people pleasing over our own needs and desires. So in the past month, have you put working on your business on the back burner because maybe somebody else wanted your attention? Right? We tend to people please and we put our own needs, our own success, our own things that we want to work on, our own dreams on the back burner so that we don't disappoint what we think somebody else is looking for. Number 5 is waiting until you see proof before you commit. Well, this is a big one. Because we tend to say, I will believe it once I see it, right? There is a difference between Newtonian physics and quantum physics. Newtonian physics is, once I see it, I'll believe it, right? Quantum physics says, I have to believe it first before I see it, right? And that's really the way our world works. We have to believe we can do it first. That's kind of like we have to commit first, right? We have to believe first. So in the past year, have you wanted maybe to invest in support or in something for your business, but you think you have to make the money first before you invest in your business? This is really, really funny. This is like someone who says, I really want to work with you, but I have to get a client first. I really want to do yoga, but I'm not flexible. I really want to learn the, I really want to get over this X, Y, and Z, right? It's like, wait, what? You're like, hold on. Like, you don't necessarily need proof. What you need to do is commitment, right? What you need is no, you know what? If I commit and take the action, then I'll see the proof. We tend to get stuck there. Number 6, waiting until tomorrow and believing that you don't have enough time, right? Our dreams coming true exist today, not tomorrow. It was interesting. One of my clients actually said, oh, I'm going to put that on my vision board. And I'm like, no, let's action it right now. No, vision board is like, oh, I'll put it on my vision board. Maybe it'll come true, right? No, your success in your business comes true today by the actions that you take today, not by waiting until tomorrow, not by waiting until something magical happens and the time opens up for you, right? We talked yesterday about time and money being the two sides of the same coin and how they will bend to your priorities. So this idea that we're delaying making a decision to take action in our business, telling ourselves we don't have enough time, is actually just choosing something else as a priority, right? And when we decide to make our business a priority, we have plenty of time because we're clear about what the priority is. Number 7, letting circumstances decide for you. So notice if in the past year you've been a hard yes for having support or hiring somebody, but you let your bank account, partner, or an outside circumstance be the reason why you said no. This used to be me. This used to be me, right? Oh, my bank account says no, so I have to say no. And it wasn't until I made that decision to go all in, to invest, even though I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, and say, you know what, here's my $100 out of the 10,000. Here's my $100. This is my commitment to say yes. And I'm going to create what it is that I need. So this is important. We don't want to let a circumstance decide for us. We want to choose. And it's totally okay to choose no, right? We can choose no, that's not what I want. But if you choose yes, then you get to step into not letting the circumstance decide, but you get to say, okay, how can I make this happen? What do I need to do? What are some ways that I can source this, right? Leaders make powerful decisions and they source their own experiences. Number 8 is sitting on the fence and not making a decision. Anybody done that before? I know I have, right? I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna think about it. I'm just gonna marinate on it for a while. I'm just gonna wait until it finally just like pops through with clarity, right? I'm not saying that we don't want to think things through. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we want to make a decision. Because when we are on the fence, we don't do anything. When we overthink it, we're spinning. There's no progress anywhere. We're absolutely just staying still by not making the decision. And not making a decision can also be keeping us in our comfort zone, right? If I don't decide, then I can't get it wrong. If I don't decide, I can't get it wrong, right? So that is something that will absolutely keep us from success, because remember, we talked about the more decisions we make, the more feedback we get. So we have to make a decision. Go right, go left, but get off the fence. If you go right and you get it wrong, not a big deal. You just turn around and go the other direction, right? But at least you know, right? How many times have you sat on the fence not knowing, being afraid to make the decision, and you go nowhere? You're right, you stay at the same place that you're at. So we have to make movement. We have to make movement. So just notice where you might be out of alignment in any of these obstacles to success. Maybe which one of these are kind of popping in for you. Some are going to pop in stronger than others. Some you might not have any problem with at all. You know, some of you might be fast action takers and make decisions really easy. Some of you, it might take a while. But just notice which one of these are in the way for you, because many of these also might be in the way for your clients. And so it's important for you to kind of see what you might be bumping up against so that you can move through that. And then are you willing to bust through these so that you can be the empowered leader here to make a difference in the world and be well paid in the process, right? Obstacles are going to happen along our journey, right? I'm not here to say that building and growing a business is effortless. It requires effort, but it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. It doesn't have to be hard. We've all done hard things. It can be fun, right? It doesn't have to be terrifying, right? It can absolutely be something that we get to do instead of a have to do, and we get to do it with fun, and we get to change the world in the process, and we get to allow ourselves to receive in the process too. So in Facebook, let me know which one of these, just pop in, you know, number 1 through 8, which one of these do you feel is popping up for you? And here inside of the Zoom room, Alyssa or Sarah, which one of these do you feel are like, ooh, that kind of hit a chord? Any one of these? Keep scrolling down.
Yeah, I'd definitely say like 5 and 6. There's a few in there of like,
Yeah.
some of them I'm recognizing though are like older beliefs. There might be some faint shadows in there,
Mhm. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
even consciously that
Mhm.
it's like, this is or isn't the way to be. But there's
Mhm.
those unconscious programmings that need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, you know, if we take a look at waiting until tomorrow, believing that we don't have enough time, the way around this, or the way through it, to bust through it, is to remember that you choose how to use your time, right? It's not that we don't have time. We actually get to stop saying, I don't have time. That is perpetuating. The more we say, I don't have time, the more that neural pathway gets cemented. What if instead of saying, I don't have time, we can tell ourselves, I can create time for what's important to me, right? So that puts us into a more empowered relationship with time instead of thinking that time has power over us. Yeah. Alyssa, what about you? Any of these popping up for you?
I'm 1 and 5 for sure.
Yeah. 1 in 5. So 1 is hiding and playing small. Yep. Afraid to put ourselves out there for sure. And then number 5, waiting until you see proof first. Yeah. So or for 1, the way through number 1 is just to notice what it is that we're telling ourselves that is keeping us from actually showing up. Right. So if the idea is, oh, I don't know what to post, so I'm just not going to, or people are going to think that I'm silly if I do this, right? Noticing that, and then instead doing it anyways with the idea that, you know what if just one person needed to hear this?
It's funny because I just did that this week. I
Mm-hmm.
I post, like, I hate being on camera, video, anything. And I did
Mm-hmm.
share a post this week with my own picture. And I guess that's a good thing to do because a lot of people started sharing it.
Yay.
And a friend, so this would be, so she's a friend from childhood that lives in another state. And she actually reached out and was like, oh, this is such great information. Thank you. So
Yeah.
then I was like, hey, maybe I need to do this a little bit more often.
Yes, yes, yes. So here's the interesting thing when we are, and this actually kind of goes with number 5. When we do something and we get positive feedback like that, we want to start looking more for the positive feedback, right? Because we see proof for what we're looking for. We see proof for what we're looking for, right? If we're like, oh, I have to wait until I have the XYZ thing first. Well, absolutely. If we start looking for abundance, we're going to be able to find abundance everywhere, right? If we start looking for all of the reasons why we get to invest in ourselves and in our business so that we can have the results that we want versus waiting until we see proof, right? It's like waiting to go to a yoga class until you're flexible. That makes no sense. Makes no sense, right? Waiting to do anything until we absolutely know how. Let me ask you, when was the last time you did something and you already knew how to do it? Something new. Probably never.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Think about the last time you did something new, but you already knew how to do it. Right?
Okay, that's not making sense in my brain.
Exactly. Exactly. Imagine, you're like, I want to learn how to ride my bike, right? None of us know how to do anything new. So the idea that we have to have proof for what it is first before we can do it is crazy, right? I want proof first that I can actually ride my bike. Well, you have to actually get on the darn bike and ride it in order to learn how to ride the bike, right? I want proof first. Well, that we never have proof first before we try something new. We always have to try something new and then we see proof of our results, right? We might be able to borrow somebody's proof, right? We might be able to borrow somebody else's belief of, oh, yeah, I believe that riding a bike is possible. Oh, I believe that building a 6-figure business is possible because I see, but. But if we wait to take action until we see proof, that will never happen. It will never arrive. Does that make sense, Alyssa?
100%.
Yeah, yeah. I know your brain gets kind of scrambled when you think about it, right? You're like, well, wait, what? So that's the way out, is to realize that everything new that you've created, you actually took action before you saw proof. You actually took action before you knew that you could. Anything new that you've tried. Yeah, awesome. These are fascinating, aren't they? Right? Yeah. This is why we have mindset included in Activate Abundance Academy. Every single month we have a mindset call. Twice a year we do deep dive mindset calls around wealth consciousness and also our beliefs around money and who it is that we're being, right? Because this is a muscle. And the more we use it, the more we realize when we're on the scarcity train versus the abundance train, the more we realize we've resorted to the old outgrown programming, right? Just like our computer that needed to be updated, figured out that the reason why I wouldn't talk to Zoom yesterday was because my computer needed to be updated, right? So the program didn't work well because it needed to be updated. Same thing with our brain, right? So we just get to notice when there's an outdated code and we're like, oh, there's my brain. It just thought an outdated code. What else do we need to think? Yeah, awesome. So what is an aha or an insight or a takeaway that you guys are taking away from our call today? And if you're on Facebook, go ahead and pop it in the chat. If you guys are here with me in Zoom, would just love to know what's
For
one.
me, it's
Yeah.
exactly what you just said. You
Mhm.
know, everything that I've done, I did it without even thinking that I had to learn to do it. I just
Mhm.
did it.
Mhm.
So I'm going to keep that in mind. So when I feel that uncomfortableness of doing something new, I'm going to think back to all the things I've already done and I got through it.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. You might even want to put, write a sticky note, and put it up on your computer. I can do new things. I can do new things. It's easy for me to do new things. I can try new things. or even I can do hard things. Heck, I birthed 3 babies naturally. I can surely do hard things.
Yes.
Yeah, I can show up on Facebook. I can
Yeah.
make a post, right? I birthed babies. I can do this.
Yeah, much
Yeah.
lower risk than birthing babes.
Right.
I liked how you said, the to put your thoughts behind why something is a good decision. It was a
Mhm.
nice reframe. Because it
Yeah.
is, I mean, I tell my body work clients all the time, it's like, especially at the end and they're all relaxed and stuff. I'm like, okay, so now take a few breaths to memorize feeling good,
Mm.
here at any moment. Uh,
Mhm.
and I'm like, we practice feeling bad all the time.
Yeah.
Did you practice feeling bad in traffic on the way here? I know I did
Mhm.
myself. I could choose something else,
Yes.
like
Exactly.
I'm
I
more.
love that. And it really is a choice, right? It really, really is a choice. My husband went out of town this past weekend and he came back and he was like, complaining about all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm like, I don't want anything negative. He's like, that's not negative. I'm like, okay, well, I need to stay in the positive energy. I'm going to look for the positive, right? Whatever you focus on grows. So backing up your decision with positive reasons why it's going to work is definitely going to serve you versus looking for all of the reasons why that was the worst decision ever.
And that's easy and
Mhm.
boring, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. The way out of that would be like, why was this the best decision ever? Yeah. Let me just focus, just shift our focus. It's
Be a
all we
great
need to
journaling exercise for me today.
do. Mhm.
Mhm.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here today. I am super excited. We're going to dive back in tomorrow with an open Q&A. So if you have a moment to go through the workbook or any of you guys that are catching up on the replays and you have any questions around the Align module, the design, pricing programs, signature systems, anything about attracting your ideal client into your ecosystem, what to do to nurture them, what to do to invite, you get to pick my brain tomorrow. So I will be here and we'll be diving into an open Q&A session. Sound good? All
Yes,
right.
I
Cool,
did.
cool. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Can
Bye.
you can
Yeah.
you stay 1 second? I have a quick question for you.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I made up my mind. I'm going all in.
Yay!
My my question is, can you not put it on your Facebook account, on your Facebook page?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go and do this. And I'm sad that
Yay.
it's a holiday weekend because I'm not gonna have time to like go
That's
through
okay.
everything. But come Monday, I'm all in.
Well, you have access to all of the recordings. So again, when you come into Activate Abundance, you actually have access to all of my master classes. So you're good. You're not going to miss a thing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so
Yay.
much.
You're welcome. And Alyssa, you also get a fast track strategy session with me. So I'll send you the link for that. And we'll get you and me just a one-on-one call right away.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really excited.
Yay, me too. Fantastic. All right. For those of you that want to call, make sure that you book the call with me before midnight tonight so that you can get the 20% discount. Remember, if you're even remotely interested, get on my calendar before midnight so that you can save the 20%. Okay. If you wait to book a call with me tomorrow, the standard investment, it goes back up. So definitely get on my calendar today. Even if we can't talk until next week, that's fine. But just make sure that you get on my books before midnight tonight. All right, everybody. See you back here tomorrow. Bye.